Greeting to all Ambazonians on ground zero and across the world. This is King H, the radical Pan-African activist from Ambazonia, aka Ambas the 56th country of Africa. Ambazonians, those who are for Ambazonia and those who are against, those so-called Anglophone Cameroonians who are against Ambazonia. Look at what happened in Tunisia. And this happens across Northern African nations or even in Middle East countries. Black people in the world are not respected. And we Ambazonians must protect our land, must protect our nation, must protect our statehood. Because that's the only place where we can have respect that will go from there and across the globe. We need our own nationhood. And we must fight and die for our own nationhood, because that's how every nation that is successful has done it. So the war against La République du Cameroon continue. This war will not stop until we get our independence, our sovereignty. Look at what UN said. UN accused government of Cameroon and the armed forces of Ambazonia, of what is happening in the so-called Anglophone or Southwest and Northwest, as they so-called call it. But the new United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights is worried over worsening security situation in Cameroon's Anglophone region. Worried. The war has been going on for 5 years, going 6 years now actually, and they're worried. You know, the war in the Anglophone region, in Southwest and Northwest, in Ambazonia versus Cameroon, they're not worried about it. The UN doesn't care about it. They only care about their interests. But the fact that they are saying this is just, just formalities. They don't care about Southern Cameroon. They don't care about Ambazonia. They don't care about Africa in general, so long as they can get what they need. The UN, it's a privately owned institution, owned by Western nations. They control it, and they control what they gain from the rest of the world. They don't give a fuck about African humanity. They don't care about black humanity. But she's saying all this. If you look at the war between Ukraine and Russia, the UN has already taken sides. G7 that controls the UN has already taken sides over the war with Russia and Ukraine. G7 supports Ukraine. They support Ukraine militarily. They have done everything possible to show that they support Ukraine over Russia. But what did the new UN High Commissioner say? She's worried about the war in the Cameroon's Anglophone region. But though she accused Cameroon government of what they did, but they're not taking sides. They're not taking the side of Anglophone Cameroonians, nor are they taking the side of Cameroon. But in the war of Ukraine and Russia, UN has already taken sides. And this UN supports Ukraine. G7 that controls the UN supports Ukraine over Russia. So in war, people choose sides. Southern Cameroonians must take the side of Southern Cameroonians. Ambazonians must take the side of Ambazonians and fight to get an independent nation. That way, Ambazonians will be respected in order to create their own nationhood. We must be respected. The UN does not care about Southern Cameroonians. The UN does not care about Ambazonians. The UN does not care about Africans, so long as they can exploit Africans and exploit the resources that they need from Africa. They don't give a damn about Africa. And Africans must realize that, must see that, and act for the interests of Africa. I gotta say this to all Ambazonians. The recent senatorial election that happened in Ambazonia is not a part of Ambazonia. The Republic of Cameroon does not have authority over Ambazonia. Ambazonia has authority over Ambazonia. And Ambazonia's authority must go after all those senators, so long as they're inside Ambazonia. If they're inside Ambazonia, Ambazonian military must go after all those senators and councillors. But if they're outside Ambazonia, if they're in La Republic, we shouldn't bother about that. We should focus on Ambaland and Ambazonia and having complete control over Ambazonia, over the 14 counties of Ambazonia. We must concentrate to eliminate the forces of La Republic of Cameroon inside Ambazonia. We must make Ambazonia stronger militarily. We must control all geographical areas inside Ambazonia militarily and push the war inside La Republic of Cameroon. There's a bigger war coming inside La Republic of Cameroon, and we must be ready to take advantage over the war that is coming inside Cameroon. But in order for us to do that, we must control our territory. We must control Ambazonia. The soldiers of Ambazonians must act unitedly and decisively against the forces of La Republic of Cameroon to control our territory. We are at war. Ambazonia is at war, and everything we do is to protect the interests of